Hello students, welcome to Plus One Political Science class. Today I will continue lesson 6 Non-Alignment and Non-Aligned Movement. The topic is Non-Aligned Movement in Contemporary World. The objectives of the lesson are nature of non-alignment, origin and evolution of non-alignment, relevance of non-alignment, NAM in contemporary world, India's role in NAM, and objectives of the day are relevance of non-alignment, NAM in contemporary world, India's role in NAM. Now I will discuss the key terms with you. Neocolonialism, the practice of using capitalism, cultural imperialism and conditional aid to influence a developing country instead of the previous colonial methods of direct military control or direct political control. The example of European neocolonialism is French Africa, constituted by the continued close relationships between the France and its former African colonies. Students, you remember in history you were taught that in medieval period there was system of imperialism and colonialism. Under this system, the imperial countries like European countries like Great Britain, France, Dutch, Portuguese countries captured Asian and African and Latin American countries called colonies through battles. So they annexed them politically, like India annexed they started annexing India through the Battle of Plassey, and later they continued and ended with a struggle for freedom. So this was the system of imperialism and colonialism in the medieval ages. But now in modern ages, the system is changed. Now the developed countries have changed their trend. Instead of capturing politically with the help of military, now they are capturing developing countries economically. They are bringing their products in the multinational companies and in the developing countries like India. We feel proud if we work in such companies. That time, one East India company started capture of India, and now we find many such companies, but we don't go in the depth to understand their real intention. History teaches us a lot, so we must learn from it. Anyhow, the next term is South-South cooperation. The term historically used by policymakers to describe the exchange of resources, technology and knowledge between developing countries, also known as countries of the global south. Students, if you see the all continents except Australia, all the southern continents like Asia, Africa and Latin America were once the colonies of imperial nations of the European continent. So here NAM wants all the countries of southern hemisphere, which are now developing countries, must cooperate with each other, as it will be good for their development. Next is North-South cooperation. Most traditional type of cooperation occurs when a developed country supports economically or with another kind of resources a less developed country, for example, with financial aid during a natural disaster or crisis. Here, North means developed continent like North America, American continent or European continent, and South means Asia, Africa, and Latin America, which are now developing as they were once the colonies of imperial countries. Next is international terrorism. It refers to terrorism that goes beyond national boundaries in the terms of the methods used, the people that are targeted, or the places from which the terrorists operate. Since the emergence of Al Qaeda in 1990s, international terrorism has become largely synonymous with the Islamic terrorism. Now I will start the topic. Students, last time I talked about the formation of NAM. I discussed about the reason of formation of NAM. You know, the year 1945 is very important in the world history, as this is the year when Second World War ended and one more thing happened in the same year. You know what is that? That is the formation of United Nations Organization. The purpose of the formation was to maintain world peace and to avoid any other war. It has proved a very successful body till today. But here I want to tell you one thing more that happened after the 1945, and that is the beginning of the Cold War. Both USA and USSR now started a race to prove their superpower status. In this race, they were not alone. They wanted to join the countries with them so that the blocks are made. They wanted to make the blocks. In this process, they started making military alliances with the newly sovereign states of Asia, Africa, and Latin America, as according to them, these countries were undeveloped and would easily join their blocs. You know, here newly states means countries like India, Sri Lanka, Burma, Asian states. But it was the time when our Prime Minister Pandit Nehru showed his strength and refused to join any superpower bloc and decided to start his own policy, that is non-alignment. The heads of Ghana, Egypt, Indonesia, Yugoslavia also joined hands with him, and this founded the NAM. It's not only these countries, rather it indicates three continents, as India and Indonesia represented Asia, Ghana and Egypt represented Africa, and Yugoslavia represented Europe. So are you clear? They represented not only their countries, rather they represented the three continents. Now I will come to the topic, that is NAM in contemporary world. After its birth in 1961 at Belgrade in Serbia, NAM has grown with years. However, at the same time, it has come to face several new complexities and challenges. It originated basically as a movement for maintaining independence of the new states in foreign relations in the era of Cold War with headquarters at Jakarta in Indonesia. Its founder members were Jawaharlal Nehru, Abdel Nasser, Sukarno, Joseph Tito, and Kwame Nkrumah. It got developed into movement for protecting and securing the due rights of the NAM countries, which constituted to be the largest segment of the world. It has been and continues to be engaged in opposing the forces of imperialism, colonialism, neocolonialism, and racial discrimination. Students, now these terms have already been discussed with you in detail, like imperialism was the policy of developed European countries to capture politically the countries of Asia, Africa, and Latin America to exploit the human and natural resources. European countries were the imperial countries, like European countries, like I already told you, Great Britain, Germany, France, Italy. These all countries were Portugal, France, these were all imperial countries. And Asian African countries were their colonies like India. Pakistan was also part of India that time. Burma, Sri Lanka, these were all the colonies. So this was the system in the 17th and 18th centuries. But now in 21st century, a new system has started. That's a new colonialism. Here, they don't capture politically, rather they capture only economically. I have discussed these in the beginning in the new key terms. Is it clear? So, it I discussed them in detail. In the process, it made a valuable contribution towards the dilution and weakness of the Cold War and security alliances, as well as towards the promotion of the idea of friendship among all nations. NAM has successfully demonstrated its continued relevance through its summits. You know, the summits mean its meetings. Meetings are called summits. NAM has conducted its summits like in Belgrade, Cairo, Havana, even at New Delhi also its summit was conducted. It has conducted its summits at Durban, its summits are not annual summits like United Nations summits. They are not regular feature like UNO summits. So these have reflected certain new trends and even some weaknesses of the NAM in contemporary times. Now I will discuss contemporary trends in NAM. Students, now we all know that NAM was established in 1961 with the purpose to be away from the power blocks. But today we are living in 2020. Now we are to see that what are the gradual changes that have come in its objectives since its formation. NAM started with just 25 members. Now let's see what are the contemporary trends. NAM membership has registered a big increase. It currently stands at 120 and some other countries, particularly some countries of Eastern Europe, are quite willing to join the NAM. You know which are the countries of Eastern Europe? These are Ukraine, Moldova, Belarus, Croatia, Turkey, Cyprus. These are the Eastern European countries. So these are interested to join NAM because they were already in the USSR bloc. Now USSR is no more. Now they are interested to join this NAM. Have a look on the polar view of NAM countries. You see, all the southern continents are the members of the NAM. NAM is developed into the largest single global movement of the third world, and its members belong to all continents and constitute about 70% of the membership of the United Nations and more than 75% of the world's population. However, increased membership has also been acting as a source of some difficulties in the way of decision making in the NAM summits. Despite increased membership, NAM countries are virtually without a settled and definite direction and agenda in the contemporary times. Some member countries want to make NAM a forum for settling bilateral disputes among members. You know, bilateral disputes means dispute between two nations, like border disputes or bilateral dispute between India, Pakistan, POK dispute is bilateral dispute, and advocate the demand for creating a NAM machinery for conflict resolution. Like they feel NAM to work as International Court of Justice organ of the United Nations. But this is not the objective of NAM. NAM is not having such a court to work like this. After the end of the Cold War, NAM has started focusing more on economic issues, problems, and relations among the nations. You know, economic issues like trade relations, NAM is promoting. Like NAM is a group of developing countries. So NAM wants economically the countries to develop. That's why the economic issues is the main focus of the NAM. However, the exercise still remains limited. In case the relatively richer and more developed countries of Eastern Europe and Central Asia get them entry into NAM, these can try to dominate it. This can be another challenge to NAM. The purpose of formation of NAM is to be away from the power blocks, and if these countries join them, again this will disturb the NAM objective. So this is again a big challenge to NAM. And you know, the Central Asian countries come, like the Turkey also comes in it, Israel, Lebanon, Iraq, these all are there, and the Eastern European countries I have already told you: Ukraine, Moldova, Belarus, Croatia, Cyprus. Turkey is a common country on both sides. So this can disturb the objectives of NAM if it joins them. Disarmament, particularly nuclear disarmament, continues to be a top item on the future agenda of NAM, but no real progress in this direction is visible. NAM has been becoming more vocal in condemning international terrorism and cross border terrorism. Yet, it has not been successful in realizing the objective of having comprehensive and strong global level treaty against terrorism. India, Egypt, and Yugoslavia, who have been traditionally playing a key role in the activities and decisions of NAM have now become a less active member. Yugoslavia stands disintegrated. Egypt has become a less interested member. India finds it difficult to play its traditionally active role in NAM. Students, here I have taken the name of all the three founder members of NAM, and now they are there but not active up to that level as they were there in 1960s till 1990s. So change has come. NAM has been currently trying to secure the democratization and expansion of the UN Security Council and hopes that some NAM countries will get a permanent berth in the NAM in the body today in Security Council. However, it has not been putting much needed action behind this objective. Students, I hope you know that this year India got non-permanent seat in UN Security Council, and it's 8th time India has got this seat. No other country has such record, and this can make India eligible to be a permanent member in the Security Council. But that's a big process. We know for this UN Charter needs to be amended. Anyhow, here advantage will go to the NAM group also if this happens. So anyhow, let's see what happens. Non-aligned countries are currently giving a new priority to the need for expanding their business, trade, and economic relations among all its members. You know why are they preferring economic relations? Because they all are developing countries. So their main focus is on the economic relations. This has become more essential for meeting the challenges being posed by global economic pressures as well as for the protection and promotion of the interest of the developing countries in the era of World Trade Organization and globalization. You know, one side NAM countries are interested in promoting their economic relations, and on the other side there is WTO, World Trade Organization. So that's why they are more interested in promoting their trade relations. NAM has been passing resolutions after resolutions, but has also reflected an inner weakness to get these resolutions implemented. This fact has seriously limited the role of NAM in the contemporary world order. Students, we all know that NAM is a group of developing nations and it's like General Assembly of United Nations. It lacks executive body like Security Council of UNO and that can implement all its resolutions. This is the major drawback of NAM, but we should not ignore the circumstances under which NAM was set up. That's why it has some weaknesses if we compare it with United Nations. Otherwise, it's a very strong body at its own. Presence of some evil practices like cross-border terrorism, drugs trade, human trafficking have been keeping the role of and progress of NAM limited. Failure of NAM to protect the sovereignty of some NAM members like Afghanistan has definitely acted as a source of weakness of NAM and have been acting as a serious limitations on the role of NAM in international relations. Terrorist violence and local wars have been adversely limiting the role of NAM. The NAM countries always voice the need to meet the maintenance of the international terrorism through collective efforts and means. However, they have unfortunately never been really successfully in forging cooperation and action against the forces of terrorism. Students, we all know that terrorism is a big challenge to the mankind in the present era. But here I would like to ask you a question. Who created this challenge? They are not from any other planet. They are also living on the same earth. If we all are to live on the same earth, then why are we becoming endangered for others? We should live with cooperation. It's not only the responsibility of UNO or NAM or any other regional organization to check such terrorist activities. We should check their supporters who support them with their selfish motive to get some status. Where are their values? Are they really humans? That's my question to them. Terrorism can be checked if they check themselves, and that's the only solution to this problem of terrorism. Despite some limitations, NAM continues to be popular with third world countries. They regard it as an important and essential forum for making their voice heard in international politics. NAM is now being viewed as the movement for independence of action in international relations. With these major trends, NAM continues to live as be the single largest international movement of third world countries. Now I will tell you India's role in the non-aligned movement. Students, I have already informed you that the time when India got freedom, already Cold War had started between USA and USSR. Each sovereign state had its two policies, that is internal and external. External policy means foreign policy, and India's foreign policy is based on non-alignment. Right from time when India became independent, sovereign state till date, non-alignment continues to be a feature of Indian foreign policy. As democratic nation in India, every government formed during the past 70 years has expressed its faith in the principle of non-alignment as feature of Indian foreign policy and guiding principle of India's relation with other nations. The first Prime Minister of independent India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, described non-alignment as the key word which opens the vast vista of Indian foreign policy. In fact, Nehru was the architect of India's foreign policy of non-alignment and played a key role along with President Nasser of Egypt and President Marshal Tito of Yugoslavia in launching and determining the nature and functions of non-alignment in the world. Over the years, NAM has come to be the world's single largest movement of almost all the countries of third world. India continues to be its member and believes that non-alignment still continues to be basic useful policy principle of Indian foreign policy. The post-1945 international relations were characterized by the emergence of Cold War between the USA and USSR, each of which tried to limit and check the power and role of the other. Those countries who joined one bloc were held to be the enemies of the other bloc. The Cold War and the two rival military blocs divided various countries of the world into two rival camps. In such dangerous environment, Prime Minister Nehru decided to keep India away from Cold War security alliances and power blocs of both the superpowers and unhealthy power politics between the USA and USSR and their respective blocs. However, at the same time, Prime Minister Nehru decided that India must play an active and positive role in international relations on the basis of an independent foreign policy and analysis and decided on the merit its every decision on all international issues, challenges and interests. So non-alignment doesn't mean that India will be neutral at international relations. It means that Pandit Nehru decided India will be active member at international relations. The policy came to be defined as the policy of non-alignment. Several countries of the world like Egypt, Yugoslavia, Burma and Indonesia also decided to base their respective foreign policies on similar principles. So it's not only India, the other countries also base their foreign policies on the similar principles. This led to the birth of non-alignment in international relations of the post-war period of 20th century. So, initially, several scholars had described such a policy as neutrality in Cold War. However, George Lissaka, an Englishman, used the term non-alignment for such a policy. India and all other countries following a similar foreign policy started using the name, that is non-alignment. Gradually non-alignment came to be adopted and practiced by several states of Asia, Africa and Latin America, and today the number is 120. So it's not a small thing. It's just started with 25 and today it's the 120. In 1961, all the countries following the non-alignment in international relations launched a movement of the non-alignment in the world, which gradually got the popular name Non-Alignment Movement, the NAM. India played a major role in launching the NAM in international relations. In fact, India played a leadership by adopting a foreign policy based on the principle of non-alignment, which influenced several other countries, more particularly the newly emerged sovereign states. Newly emerged sovereign states means those who were getting freedom from imperialism. Newly emerged sovereign states in the world to adopt non-alignment in international relations. So now I will tell you, as non-aligned country, India decided that. What did India decide? That it shall remain away from the Cold War. It shall not join any power bloc, neither the US bloc nor the Soviet bloc. So India decided these things, not to join these blocs, that military alliances at the time of war. Otherwise, India will be friend of both the countries. But at the time of war, it will not join any of the power bloc. India will adopt and follow an independent foreign policy based on the principles of peaceful coexistence. India shall strongly oppose the forces of imperialism and colonialism in international relations. India shall not be a member of any multilateral or bilateral military alliance. India shall not give any military base to any foreign power in territory of India. Till today, non-alignment continues to be a feature of Indian foreign policy, and continuous participation in NAM has also been a virtual code of conduct for India. Now I will tell you history of NAM and India's role. After its launch in 1961, the NAM began developing in a big way. In 1961, the membership of NAM was 25, which is now 120. NAM has now got the distinction of being the single largest international movement of third world countries in the world. Right from NAM's birth in 1961 till date, India has been an active and important member of this movement. It has been playing a very active role in all NAM summits and other conferences of NAM members. Even India was host of the 7th NAM summit held at New Delhi in 1983 when Mrs. Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister. However, at the same time, it must also be recorded that in the contemporary era of international relations, which is characterized by an emerging new world order, Indian participation in NAM has not been as active as it used to be during 1960 to 2010. The reason is there has been total 18 NAM summits till today. The last summit, that is 18th summit, was held in October 2019 at Baku in Azerbaijan. But Indian Prime Minister Modi decided to skip it. You know, NAM summits are attended by the Prime Minister of India, but he decided to skip it. But that doesn't mean that he has lost interest in the doctrine. Of course, this is the second time in row, as had earlier also he skipped the 17th Margaret Nam Summit in 2017 at Venezuela, wherein India was represented by the then Vice President Mr. Hamid Ansari. And this time in 18th NAM Summit, the country was represented by Vice President Mr. Naidu. This now both time our Vice President represented the country. The Prime Minister skipped it. So the representation was by the Vice President. So this clearly proves that India is fully conscious of its responsibilities as founding member of the movement. India has been now fast developing as a major power in this new world order of 21st century. However, this does not mean that India is anyway going away from NAM. It still regards NAM as a relevant movement in favor of action governed by the objective of securing the goals of both India's national interest as well as goals of global interest and objectives. So finally, I can say that non-alignment has not lost any of its relevance, rather it has the test of time. NAM can play the most important role in protecting the economic interest of the third world countries as well as promoting the South-South cooperation. Thus, the philosophy of NAM is as relevant as ever for the third world countries. So, students, this finishes the discussion of my today's topic. Now, you will read the pages from 105 till 110. Now, I will tell you the related short questions. The short questions are: give the limitations in progress of NAM after the end of the Cold War. How can you say that NAM has been world's single largest movement of almost all the countries of the third world? What are India's decisions with regard to its foreign policy as being the member of the non-aligned movement? And the long questions are: write a brief note on contemporary emerging trends in NAM. Why has the role of NAM suffered a decline? Briefly explain India's role in the NAM. Students, you will watch the video again and do the snap homework question. Thank you. Next time I will discuss the next chapter. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.